whatever children raised found its ways into the Children Act. Yale tulipitisha tukiwa National Assembly zimeingizwa wapi? Kwa Children Act. So how we do it in an assembly setup. Hello? In a parliament setup. The way you guys in school you do debating clubs. How many belong to debating clubs? Do you know? How do you address your leaders in your club? Who chairs the session? The speaker, right? How do you do when you have an issue to raise? Please demonstrate a bit.
If I have an issue to
raise. Sema kwa lugha yote, assembly languages, Kiswahili and English. And even sign language, so you can use the one that you understand.
Kama niko na issue to raise.
Yes.
Kama speaker atachagua.
Yes.
Nitasimama na nitaongea.
Yes. That is how they do in their place. Whenever they have an issue, you raise your hand, and the speaker gives you permission to do it, to speak. So that is what we want to learn. How do we raise our issues? And how we raise our concerns, how we raise our issues, we do it being guided by what? Standing orders. Tumeelewa?
Yes.
Now, I want us to go back a bit because the things that we want to, the terms that we want to use, we need to agree. Yesterday you elected leaders. Who did you elect? I wasn't there, I saw. But tell me, I want to see those leaders. Who was elected? You. Who are you? Assistant chairperson. For Nairobi County? Oh, now there is assistant chairperson. So that tells me there is a chairperson. Where is the chairperson? Chairperson for Nairobi? Nairobi County. And please tell me your leader. Secretary General. There is a Secretary General. Wapi? Somebody should look like a Secretary General. Very good. Secretary General. Okay, another one? Assistant Secretary General. Wapi? Very good. Another one? Organizing Secretary. Yuko hapa. Okay? And Deputy Organizing Secretary. Deputy Organizing Secretary. Ajafika. I've seen boy, girl. That is good. Sergeant at Arms. Yes, I can see. Sergeant at Arms. That is a girl. Two deputies. Where is the first deputy? Yeah, and the second. Oh, you are seated together. Now, I belong to the analog team, where, this is 2022. As we used to call speaker, governor, clerk, sergeant at arms. Na hiyo yetu ilikuwa inaingia, sijui yenu hii sasa sijazoea. Because you see, even when you are running assembly, I think your partners you are listening. I'm not looking for something, but I want to hear the opinion of the children. When we were running assemblies, in as much as the person chairing is the chairperson, it sounds well when it is Mr. Speaker or Madam Speaker. So, anyway, let's do this. This document we're having here is revised 2021, and this has not been validated ama haijapitishwa ikuwe document rasmi. So as far as I'm concerned, the old standing orders and the old charter still is in force. So for the sake of this meeting, so that I explain it very well, let me still use the documents that are still in force. So the standing order that I'll be referring to is the one that has the Speaker, the President of ACA, the Governor for Nairobi County of Children Assembly, and the Clerk of the Children Assembly. That was the spirit of KCA all along. But as time went by, probably it has been seen necessary to update. So for now, I want us to agree this way so that we move faster. When we talk of the president of KCA, we mean the chairperson of KCA. Tuko pamoja, friend? Yes? So where is the president of Nairobi County, or rather the governor now? Governor. The president sits at the National Assembly. So that is the governor of the Nairobi County Children Assembly. Now, where is the speaker, Madam Brenda? Speaker is equivalent of the organizing secretary. Hapo sasa ndio mimi nachanganyikiwa. I went through the document, the revised, and I want to be honest that haikuingia vile ningetaka. Because tumezoea ile, you see, my experience is 10 years of Children Assembly. This one came last year. So it is document still in progress. But I'm not disputing what you've organized. I'm saying, allow me to use the speaker, the governor, the clerk, for the sake of my presentation. Actually, that presentation on the wall is this, the way you guys have been organized. But when I'm presenting, when I'm talking about the speaker, I'm talking about, now there is organizing secretary and secretary general. Hapo ndio sasa Brenda, saidia. So secretary general is the speaker. Okay? And then organizing secretary, clerk. Okay. And of course the sergeant at arms. So there are three. When it comes to KCS sitting in assembly setup where you discuss issues, the three people who are always active is the speaker, the clerk, and the sergeant at arms. Well, the president is there, but when it comes to deliberation of issues, usually it is the speaker, the clerk, and sergeant at arms. In respect to the current establishment, so we have who? The secretary general, the organizing secretary, and sergeant. You know why I was saying it, to me it doesn't sound sweet. Because I'm imagining a delegate raising their hand and saying, Madam Secretary General, we are used to, Madam Speaker, point of order, Madam Speaker. You know, I'm imagining those things. Are you seeing? So, that is where I'm coming from. And Brenda hinted that probably we would demonstrate. And let's see the practicality, because I'm sure since this document has not been validated, let's hear your opinion. But don't be carried out by what I'm saying that I'm not feeling uncomfortable. That is me. We want to listen to your voice. If Secretary General feels sweet for you, we will take that. If the organizing secretary feels good for you, we will take that. Because we are still in the process of taking the opinion. That's why we are here. So, how much time do I have? It can be 4. Now, before even we come to the prayer, let's finish with this so that we are clear. From here. That is what I was struggling to explain. KCA. KCA. Our responsibilities. Thank you. You are here for a purpose. Sawa. So kidogo naona watu wanaanza kusinzia. Ni asubuhi. It's still early in the morning. 10:30. Very early. So let's not do so. I will try as much as possible to make this session very interesting. So we are setting the foundation. Leaders who were elected yesterday, please be careful here. Already the president has stepped down. Okay, I hope it is a call of nature. So, when we talk of county chairperson, we are talking about the governor. When we talk about the president, it is the national chairperson. And when we talk of Secretary General, I repeat again, we are talking of the Speaker. And the organizing secretary, we are talking about who? About the clerk. And of course, Sergeant terms, they have remained. So usually, what happens once we have formed this congregation of children, you elect your officials. You did it yesterday. And now we have officials in place. By the way, did they took an oath? Not yet. We will organize for that, because again our leaders have to take an oath of office. The KCA president, the speaker, the clerk are provided for in the standing orders and the guidelines. So now we are told here, proceedings of the assembly. This is what we want to see. So I'll try to have you participate. You are newly elected. How do you begin to run your assembly? Because it reaches a time now, we the adults sit back, and now you will take the center stage. So we're just preparing you, so next time, when you'll be meeting, you know what is to be done. So I am preparing you, maybe after about 1 hour, 2 hours, as you will sit back and you organize yourself. So the standing order, let's begin with 3. Oh, I went fast. Let's go fast. This is where we begin. Newly elected. This thing is moving faster. So newly elected, election of office bearers, we are done with that. Senor?
Yes.
Aye. So the secretariat, who is the secretariat? Who can tell us who is the secretariat? Secretariat ni kina nani? Amukuambio, secretariat is a team that organizes this. Now that is comprising of staff from this year's partners and the teachers who accompany you. So we organize and convene you. So we've done that. So this law says, here, in the event the Secretary General is absent, the House shall elect Secretary General. So in the House, do we have the Secretary General? In that matter, the Speaker. So once we've convened like this, now the Speaker takes over and calls the House to business. And now that is where you see the Speaker very powerful. The Speaker now will make sure that everybody seated in that assembly is a qualified member, because when you go now to assembly, not everybody sits. Even when you go to parliament, where for visitors, gallery. You know the time you mentioned. So when you visit our National Assembly on the town, how many have been to that August House? Huko juu huwezi ruhusiwa huko kwa wajumbe, si ndio? Any other person who has visited the assembly, the Senate or the National Assembly. So if you are invited to go there, unakaa huko. Even in the last address of the nation, it was only the president aliingia wapi? For the chambers. Is it the chambers of the main assembly? But the rest, including the deputy president, former prime minister, all that delegation of politicians and the top government officials, judges, umekaa wapi? So even in this assembly, standing orders, the speaker, and that is the Secretary General, has powers to only call the members into the assembly. The rest of us, the secretariats, and our teachers and our partners, tunakaa huko pembeni. Sisi ni kuwaona na kuwasaidia. Kama mnataka maji, kama ni makaratasi, sisi tunaleta tu, nasema sisi Madam Speaker, na tunatoroka. Sindio? So you run your business. So that is how you begin to take charge of the assembly. And but in the event the speaker is not in the house, you people elect a temporary speaker. So do we have a deputy speaker elected? Where is the deputy speaker elected? Yes. So in the event the speaker, who is the Secretary General, is not in, you take over and run the business. So, and in the event the office falls vacant, maybe I'm a transfer out of Nairobi, ameenda shule kwingine and you cannot find them, in the next session you can elect another speaker. Okay? So we were told that there are committees in that assembly. 4. The committees. So in our National Assembly, remember I said we are taking the example of our parliament. That is how this thing was set up, so that children can officially communicate their issue. So in our National Assembly and the Senate, there are committees. There is one called House Business Committee, which is chaired by the Speaker. House Business Committee is the most powerful committee in the House, which coordinates almost every business and any other committee in our parliament. So, as per our standing orders, we have the standing committee, KCA, organizing committee, which is equivalent of what we used to call House Business Committee, which is chaired by the Speaker. For that case, the Secretary General. So, but the other 4 committees, and these committees are designed in a manner to respond to issues relating to the 4 pillars of children's rights. Unajua the 4 pillars?
Yeah.
Pillar number 1 ni gani? Survival and development. Ingine? Child participation. Ingine? Protection. And the other one? Yep. Oh, the 4th one plus the House Business, the Standing Committee. Thank you. So, probably part of what we will do today is nominate members. And 4.1, where is 4.1? 4.1 says, at the national we have 50 to 21 because at the national we are 144 delegates. But in the county, how many delegates are here? How many? 44. 44 delegates. So out of the 44 we have 5 to 7. We will agree whether it is 5, 7 delegates into the 4 committees. So each committee should have at least 5 and at most 7. So now you have to talk. So you can be elected into any of the committees, and it is you people now to nominate. So we will sit and say, okay, the committee that deals with issues relating to children's rights and participation. Then we say, if you really feel you like that area, probably, I don't know, you'll agree with that. You raise your hand and the speaker will agree how it is done because it's not detailed here. Now, let's look at this so that we understand. I'll be more particular on things that touches on the county. Here, let's begin proceeding. So, we shall meet at a time and a place appointed by Secretary General in consultation with whom? Secretary. So, since the assembly is still at the inception stages, but so the Secretariat decided today we are meeting here. And now this is our venue of what? Our assembly. So then, this is what will happen. Please, the Secretary General, I said when we come to the assembly, you are the most powerful and important person. So please follow what we are saying because we'll ask you to do. So, and your deputy. Okay? So you will see all the time Secretary General or Speaker shall do this, Speaker shall do that. So you are the one now to call the House to order and have all the delegates notified. So, and then national, county, or blah blah blah. You are the chairperson equivalent to the governors. You understand? Okay?
Yeah.
Let's move. Sitting and adjournment, you can adjourn. Okay, then we come to this. I want to show this. Forum. A third of the delegates. For us to transact business, there must be a third. So how many? We have 44. Serious? A third of 44? Esa para carajo. A third of 44? 14. 14 brings. So it's human beings. How many human beings? Yes? 15. We round up. 15. At least 15. So, in the lack of forum, what happens? There shall be no business. Kama kuna forum, mnasikianga huko bunge, wajumbe hawapatikani until business stops. Kwa sababu wajumbe wameenda no business. Or others will say there was even no quorum. Mulipitisha sheria, sisi hatukuwa, there was no quorum. Madam Speaker, how many members? Let us go back to the answer. Let us go back to the roll of register and confirm how many members were sitting on that day. This quorum thing is very important and very powerful thing. Where is it? Yeah. So whenever we have less than 15 members, we cannot call it an assembly, and whatever is decided is not binding. Madam Speaker, unasikia hiyo mambo? So when you call for the sitting, make sure you have at least 15 people. Okay? Something else I want us to see? Yes. Records, where is the clerk? Clerk. Records. So every transaction, everything that happens, in case we have this newsletter, but that is prepared at a very later stage. But what you do, you are provided with the material to write what the other delegates, or rather what the assembly is discussing, and then everything that members say, ideally you should write. Hata kama unaongea matoto, unaandika. Hiyo sasa ndio inaitwa answer. When you go to parliament, you hear MP anasimama anasema, Madam Speaker or Mr. Speaker, for the record, I want the answer to be produced. On that very day, the honorable member from Kisauni said ABCD. Na ukitaka unaenda kwa answer. Answer is a record of what is happening. Now it is digitized. Kuna cameras na kuna microphone na kurecord. So everything you say in that house inakuwa nini? Recorded. Hata mkipigana it is recorded. On such a day, fulani alitusi mwingine. The goodness is, once you leave that assembly, whatever you say there cannot be used against you. As long as you put the sheria. That is how this house protects you. So, hata ukileta fitina ya huko kwenu, na useme hapa, for the sake of advancing your case, nobody will take offense for what you say, you are protected by. But again, we have to be very decent. We don't want to follow our others' parents. Wanarushiana maji ya chupa. Na leo kuna maji ya chupa, so tutaona maji ya chupa. Yes, I can see a hand.
In the parliament,
yes,
talking about the land grabbing, there was a woman who tried to accuse Ruto and refused to shut up. Why was she taken out?
Did you hear his question?
No.
He's giving us a scenario. They will say what you saw.
At the parliament,
yes,
it was about Ruto grabbing land.
Yes.
There was a woman who was accusing him. And she kept on giving out evidence. Ruto did this, that, and she was taken out.
Out of the assembly. You heard me say disorderly. So it reaches a time when the speaker rules you out of order. So in as much as you are given those privileges to say whatever you want to say, the standing orders guide. Whatever you say in the floor of the house has to be substantiated. You have to produce evidence. So when the speaker feels that what you are saying is out of order, is going to ruin the reputation of the assembly, is going to cause chaos, the speaker has the power to tell you, Honorable member, you are out of order, and can you stop what you are doing? And if you refuse to hear what the speaker says, upon your sergeant at arms, and can you do the necessary? You are being escorted out of the assembly. Most likely, she went beyond what was reasonably accepted in the house, and she was ruled out of order. So when the speaker says, Honorable member, you are out of order, you stop. you respect the chair. But if you continue, the speaker now can call the orderlies, can ask the sergeant at times to show you where to stay. That is how you are ejected. Even us, if you are not going as per the standing orders, but the speaker has the powers to eject you out of the house. Even me as a member of the secretariat, if I misbehave in the assembly, she can order that one of the secretariat members is out of order. Please, certain times, do the necessary. I have to respect what she's saying. Okay?
Yeah. As you said that the speaker can eject anyone who is engaged, can the speaker also eject the chairperson?
Well, very rare occasion, the chairperson misbehaves. But if we see that, I'm sure it's not provided in the standing orders, but that is when the secretariat comes in to deal with that. But then again, rarely does the chairperson sit in that. Only when it's an official ceremony, like after what we've done, the chairperson is the one to receive your deliberations from the speaker, and the chairperson now hands over as the official spokesperson of the KCA to the secretariat or to the government. You understand? So, the person actually elected, we believe is a responsible person, right? But in the event she does not carry herself well, then the other part of the standing order, not standing order, is it the guidance? There is this provided. So the secretary now has the powers, or even the assembly, all of you, either to light up or look at a vote of no confidence. Assembly. So let's proceed how we do it. I think I've said so many things there. Yes, I was talking about the records and answer. So we are here. So the organizing secretary, I'm looking for shall record all the proceedings of the case and forward to Secretary General for signing. There's a way to show now it's done. So the organizing secretary shall through the Secretary General present all records to the National Council in respect to. I think I explained that. Whatever you report, then we'll help you as secretary to prepare it in a very nice way. Tunatengeneza Kiingereza hapa na pale. Kama ni Kiswahili tunarekebisha. Ukitumia medali, tutajaribu kuona kama hiyo medali ina apply, isn't it? And then officially you hand over to the speaker. Then the speaker hands over to the president, the KCA or the governor at that level. And what happens again? So all reports will be forwarded to who? KCA, secretariat. And then at every level. Tuko pamoja? KCA. I will keep on using that slogan. KCA. Our future, our responsibility. Narudisha to KCA. Let me just pick my cup. Dress code. What do you think is a dress code? Somebody help me with the noise. Someone from Secretariat, you noise in the records. Yes, dress code. Yes. Suti.
wale wenye huko tu wanakuwa wamevaa gowns zingine hapo.
Yes. Okay. You are very right, and I like your keen observation. Did you know that you cannot go to the parliament building without a suit and a tie, hata kama ni visitor? That is a requirement. I have been there, and I was told the first thing you should be having is a tie. Of course, you cannot put on a tie on a t-shirt like the way I'm dressed. Yeah. So for men, official attire. In most cases, a suit and a tie. For ladies, official. Official ni gani yeye? Hebu describe it. You don't know official. For ladies, a special kind of suit. It could be a skirt suit. So, like our adult parliament, they have a dress code. So as also we have what? What do you think is our dress code?
Uniform.
Yes, school uniform. Smart and decent. For now we provided you with t-shirts. So what to call? Sawa. So that is taken as part of our dress code in the session. So Madam Speaker, when you see somebody who is not dressed well, you have the power to ask, Honorable Member, please do the necessary. Can you dress well? Okay? That is for somebody who doesn't have uniform or the authorized what? T-shirt. So when we provided you with t-shirt and you come up and you come with anything else, you're out of order. And when you're out of order, Madam Speaker can order you, you go out and do the necessary. So during the session, even today, Madam Speaker, if the members of this assembly come in their jackets, you have a right to tell them to do away with their jackets. So you remain with your uniform, and for today we'll do our t-shirts. Okay? So kama hujavaa nini yako, I can see you in a school sweater. Yes. Where is your t-shirt? Iko ndani. Kama ni baridi ni sawa. You can stay for now if it is cold. But during the assembly, probably in the afternoon, it will be fairly warm. You can put on your sweater inside. We will agree that if it is very cold, and then have the t-shirt, just like what I have done. It's not modest to dress how I have done, but for the purpose of the assembly, we are doing this with no. So you can put on your sweater, but have the t-shirt. At least all of us will be the agreed dress code. So we say it's school uniform. So every time you come for the assembly in school, uniform. Yes? Secretariat. Hakuna long ya KCA, na shati ya KCA. I am Mutatil Nai. They have had. Brenda is there. Okay. Now, how do we do business? Can I request this thing is interfering with my attention. Somebody working on the sound system. So let's see now how to begin our business. Order of business. So when we come to meet, this is how we do. Each day or every session of the assembly, we begin with what? What is this? Yes?
National anthem.
We sing what? The national
Anthem.
and then do what? What do we do? Prayers before Hiyo prayer iko wapi? Walishaomba? No, there is a special prayer for the KCA. Yes, there is that one that we do. Yes. And you see you are standing on at the first page. Who is very fast to read for us? And where is Madam Speaker? Because you will be the one doing this. Not everybody does. This is done by the Speaker. So can you stand, Madam Speaker, and read this prayer? Where is the prayer? You like English or Swahili? Swahili. Aya. Swahili. Aya. Madam Speaker, where you want to be? Mama.
Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa neema na wema wako umetuteua viongozi na bunge wa watoto kwa ajili ya manufaa na ufasaha wa ufanisi wa watoto, twaomba kibali chako kwetu sisi watumishi wako ambao tumependekezwa na kutuita ili tutelekeze jukumu hili muhimu katika jamii yetu. Tuomba baraka zako, Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa mkusanyiko huu, tujalie hekima tunapojadili kwa haki na ukweli mambo yanayotuhusu sisi watoto. Tuomba mjadiliano nawe yawe ya kuleta sifa na utukufu kwa jina lako, amani na uwiano na maendeleo kwa jamii yetu. Amina.
Asante. I'm sure Madam Speaker, it's the first time you are reading this. So what you do, you rehearse, right? You rehearse until you get the flow. Endelea kusoma. Tunataka wakati utakapokuja, unajua sasa hautakaa hapo. Tutakuwa tumepanga hapa ama pale juu, bali unakaa. Wakati mmekuja, mkiingia kwa assembly, and everybody is standing and the national anthem has been sung. Unasimama vizuri na unasema, ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa neema na wema wako umeteua viongozi wa bunge la watoto bla 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 bla. Amina. And then everybody sits. Okay? Yes. Every session the speaker does. Yes. Nataka uende uangalie Parliament ikianza saa 3 asubuhi. Tune in to Bunge TV or Senate TV. Tafuta kwa channels Bunge TV. Hao ndio wana cover from the time the speaker enters the assembly, and usually in our setup we do the national anthem because at that time we have everybody, including the KCA president or the chairperson. Like the way our president goes to parliament, unaona kabla aingie parliament anafanyanga nini? The first thing the president akifika kwa parliament buildings hapo nje anafanya nini? You not watch this thing. The first thing the president does immediately after he comes Anapanda kwa ile dais yake, ile podium. Alafu wanajeshi wanapiga nini? No, wanapiga the national anthem. So band wanaimba the national anthem ya Kenya na ya Afrika wapi? Afrika Mashariki. And then anakagua parade, hiyo ceremony, anakaribishwa kwa speaker's chamber, anaenda na sign visitors book, and hiyo briefing inafanyika, alafu anaingia kwa the main hall ya assembly. Now that one, and then the prayers are said, but those are the general prayers. There are two kinds of prayers done. Whenever there is a whole assembly, including the president and invited dignitaries, there are designated people to pray, like what we did in the morning. But now, during the normal session of the assembly, okay, every time the speaker comes and takes the seat, before any business, he reads the prayer. Inakuanga imewekwa tu hapo kwa podium yake. So atasoma, Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa neema na wema wako umetuteua viongozi na wabunge mpaka afikishe amina. Akimaliza, the MP sit. Now that is a different prayer. That is for every session. So the prayer that we will do when we come back now in that session is this prayer. But when we are beginning the setup where everybody is in, we are doing the prayers as volunteers or designated participants or delegates are offering the prayer and not necessarily this one. Tuko pamoja? Yes. So in every session, the speaker ndio huwa analead hiyo prayer session. Yes. Yes.
Meetings.
Yes.
How comes pia na nambanga akikuja pia namba kusoma national anthem kuomba.
During a session, like if we were here for a full-time session like what we've been doing, we call you and you sit in for 4 days. The first official opening ceremony is done by the chairperson of that, for that case, the KCA president or the KCA governor at the county and sub-county level. So, usually for the official opening ceremony, that is when he will attend, and he is the one that took calls for that session, and he or she may not necessarily lead. He or she may not lead the prayers, but they are designated people. But what we are talking about is during the house business sittings. Those are different from the normal setup. Yes?
How long does this sitting take? Because you are saying the normal contract study. How long does it take?
Okay. In the National Assembly, it depends with so many things. The National Assembly always runs for 4 days. Usually that is the standard. This one now we are convening. Mulikuja, mukafunzwa, muka-elect officials. Now we are beginning business. So today we will just demonstrate. The next time you will come for the assembly, we will not do what you did. You come now for business, what we are saying. You understand? So that can run for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, depending on the resources, depending on the issues. Mostly it is the resources that dictate how long we are staying. Okay? I only have about 10 minutes, so I need to finish so that when to put your chai, na tukuje sasa for the next session. So we are almost done. So let's go back to what we say dress code and prayer. So number 10 or bullet 10. Let me take you there. So after the prayer, this is the prayer we are talking. So the delegate shall generate agenda and the organizing secretary shall compile the same. So it is expected that in your kamkujis mkiwa mnakunywa chai huko mkisalimiana ama mahali mmetoka sub county tayari mko na nini? Mko na agenda. Ndio? Yes. So hiyo agenda mmeleta kutoka sub county. Where is the organizing secretary? You are the one now to receive. Though there is a way in a huko through the secretariat, and then when there is assembly, you are given, right? So we will teach you how to do it, only that we don't have the time now. But I'm describing to you what always done. So you will have received those, and even if it is one member or a delegate may raise the issue, ameandika whatever they want to write, and they've signed. And there's also that part where if we want to deliberate issues raised to the sub-county, since it was handed over to the secretariat, then the secretariat finds a way of bringing. Because you cannot raise any other issue to the General Assembly without going through the clerk. She is the one now officially to receive. So even as we go now to take tea, and you really feel you have something you want this session, in the afternoon session, to sit on it, you discuss with your friends or yourself, take a paper, write it, give it to her. How's that? We want to try practically to do it. Yes, Brett?
Maybe it would be sub-county. What I believe is sub-county and so they can package them.
Yes.
And have them sign and hand it over to the delegation.
Oh, yeah. So for this case, thanks, Brett. For this case, the sub-county delegation, ile mliagri tutaleta ikuja county. So you package it well, na your president and the site, and then sasa it will be delivered to her desk. So after she receives and the whole assembly is in session, then we have what we do. So she is the one now to read. So in the parliament, usually the clerk seated just huyo mwenye anakaa chini ya speaker hapo chini says order of the day. Order of the day. Anasoma what happens. So utasikia leo tuko na communication from the chair. So order number 1, communication from the chair. Number 2, questions. Number 3, statements from committees or maybe from cabinet secretaries. Number 4, motions. So now this is how it happens. Once the speaker has finished the prayer and everybody has sat, so whatever has been given the clerk now rises and gives that order. Order number 1, communication from the chair. Number 2, motions. Number 3, in the order, the way your office umepanga, si ndio? So your office in consultation with the secretariat ndio mnatengeneza hiyo. And then you read what is to be discussed and resolved. So we will follow that order. So once you finish, now since order number 1 was the speaker now comes, takes over his space, and come up with a communication he needs to make to the house, he makes it. Probably saying, following the sitting of the National Assembly that sat on this and this day, it was reported that this and this and this, and we've agreed that as Parliament, this is what was voted. Alafu kama ni kitu ya kupitisha, atasema, he puts it to question, asema will as many as of that opinion say aye, unasikia wanasema aye, will as many as contrary say aye. So it happens, but sometimes speakers communication inaweza kuwa ni report kutoka executive. Maybe bill ilienda kwa president akasema hapana, siwezi sign hii bill, irudi wapi? Bunge. So itarudi, and then the speaker says bill imerudishwa, mjadiliane tena. You understand? Madam Speaker, unaelewa sasa? At least you are getting the picture, ndio? I know we'll still fumble here and there, even as we are not really experts like the way they are doing it in the August House, but that is how business is done. Now, when it comes to question time, so usually members in the House have questions. Maybe there is a concern not addressed in the sub-county level, but you feel you need it to be addressed here as a representative, or maybe in the course of your session, something comes up. So in our National Assembly, when I say National Assembly, I mean the Parliament, not PC here. Member of Parliament, si ametoka constituency. For example, what is happening in Marsabit, saizi kuna violence inaendelea. Sijui kama watch news, ndio? So the member of Parliament from either of the Marsabit constituencies anakuja anasema, Mr. Speaker, I want to raise a question on insecurity in my constituency. Atasema kiangazi imekuja, imemaliza mifugo, hakuna maji, watu sasa wanapigana. What is the cabinet secretary in charge of security doing to avert the case? So for our case, if whatever is happening in the community is touching your survival rights, so inakuwa directed to the committee that deals with what? Survival issues. If it is something to do with your education and play at school and at home, it is directed to which committee? When it is touching on your education, any issue touching on education, your leisure time, your play, it is directed to which committee? Wait, which committee? Development. Thank you. Like that, if it is touching on abuse, violence, exploitation, it is directed to the committee that deals with protection. I can see my time is over. I think we can pause there so that we take tea and probably we will come back and see how to begin the session. So otherwise we pause there and then we will come. Thank you very much. We will catch up later. Madam Brent.
Was it a good session?
Yes.
Have you been able to master how to conduct business in an assembly?
Yes.
Somehow. So we'll be able to practice it when we come back. So the assignment we have for the delegates from each sub-county, as we take our tea, let's convene, and I know the issues we were able to discuss, find out from the secretariat. The secretariat is the children officer in charge of your sub-county, whether they have those issues. Those were raised during your assembly, so that once you convene, then they can be submitted as issues to the organizing secretary, so that we can have a deliberation over them. And after that, we'll be able to pass now issues for the Nairobi County, for us to be able to pass them to our chairperson, who will forward them to the secretariat. The secretariat is the person in charge of the Nairobi County, and we are hoping they will be joining us in the afternoon. So at this junction, we can take a 15 minutes break. We grab tea. Tea is not yet ready. Not it. So we can have an energizer, then we can proceed and finish the standing orders. Who will give us an energizer? A volunteer? Come. And a girl? To give us a volunteer? Huh? A lady? A girl? We said we are boys and girls. Kate, you don't have any? And also another assignment will be, as we will be breaking, you remember the 4 committees? So maybe you can write your name and the committee you are interested in. Then you can pass them to us as we go to break. So, if this applies for the ones who are not elected. So write your name, then the sub-county, then the committee you would want to be part of it. Sawa? Yes. Thank you. You can have an organization.
Mimi na jeza yangu sitatumia mic. Nitaomba msimame.
Tusimame sote, tupe teachers.
Mmesimama wote. Asimama hivi. Left, right, left, right, left. Then
Thank you.
The washrooms are over there. Gents and ladies.
So, you want to step out and go to everyone. Moja. Girls, this side, boys. Yes. So, now, somebody checking our tea. How many minutes? How many minutes? So, as we wait for tea, I believe as I do this presentation, you are able to have that mind picture, sindio?
Yes.
Tukikuja kukaa hapa mnaweza fanya, sindio? We are learning. This is the first time. Or I'm assuming, is there anyone who has participated in a session of children assembly? Leave alone this yenye mnaenda mnafunzwa na kuchaguana. Wachana na hiyo. Now, the real session where the speaker is chairing. Any person? None. So we are doing it for the first time. So all of us are learning, right?
Yeah.
So be keen, because usually before it takes shape, we will have spent some time learning. So this is how you present a question if you have a question. Look at 11. From here. Somebody to read. Unaweza soma. 11. Yeye nasema question. Yes. What's your name? Ibrahim. Yes. Alvin, read for us 11 and 11.0.
Presentation of questions.
11.
Response to questions. These shall
Sorry.
no, start.
Sorry, you can't see. Here.
questions. Questions shall include the committee secretary, the chairman, the topic for which they are responsible.
Yes. So I was giving the example of Marsabit before we went for break, right? Let me come back home, Nairobi. What is this common thing disturbing children in Nairobi? Yes? Drugs.
Yes.
Sure, drugs is a big issue. Big issue. So, you represent, for example, Waraka Sub-County. And the speaker has given you the permission. So, you may say, we as children from Waraka feel that our main problem is the drug menace. And you can even go further to give evidence if you have some reports. If you've done your research, you have even newspaper cuttings, you have reports from schools, or maybe some NGO has done a study. You can say, Mr. Speaker, there is a report here indicating that 10,000 young children are affected by drugs in Waraka sub-county. So, that question should be picked by some committee. Which committee is that? Where do you think issues of drugs falls under?
Protection.
Yes, very good. Protection. Children need to be protected from drugs and harmful substances. So protection takes it. If it is drug abuse in school, both committees can take up. The committee that deals with matters education and the committee that deals with matters protection. And so what that committee, you pick the question, and then what you do in the big assembly. So what happens is, assuming we were in the KCA national level, Kenya Children Assembly, for the whole country, right? What we had in the previous assembly, we had structures, even what we call cabinet secretaries, who are children. So this committee prepares those questions, collects them together, and channels to that cabinet secretary, who was appointed by the KCA president, for that matter, the KCA chairperson. Huyo cabinet secretary anaenda kwa secretariat. Maybe the question iliulizwa, what is the government doing to cut the menace on drug abuse in Nairobi County? Huyo cabinet secretary, kwa sababu the committee ilitask yeye watupatie report. The cabinet secretary now comes to the secretariat. Sisi secretariat tunatafuta answers to that. We give the answers to the cabinet secretary. The cabinet secretary brings the report to the committee on child protection. Tunaelewa hiyo process? Yeah? So and then the committee considers the report of the cabinet secretary and tables before Parliament. So the chairperson of that committee will come to respond to that question and say, this is the report of the committee on protection. And the question was raised concerning the issue of drug, and this is the report of the committee. So and then the chairperson reads what the committee discussed and adopted. That is how we respond to those questions. Tumeelewa?
Yes.
So I've covered up to number 11. What I was trying to explain is all this in a very practical manner. So I'm told it is ready. So let me repeat it again for the sake of your understanding. Once a question has been raised by a member, depending on the issues that you are raising, since we said we will establish committees, the committees speak, or probably even the clerk may indicate those things. na ata channel kwa hiyo committee. Hiyo committee inafaa kwenda kuketi mahali like what happens in our parliament. You heard of committee sittings, you know? There is committee on budget and the implementation. There is committee on children matters, which is called labor and social welfare committee. There is committee on security. There is committee on international relations. There is the House Business Committee. That is the parliament. But for us, we only have how many committees?
Wow.
So if your question fits protection, that committee are 5 or 7 wanafaa kukaa. But since you are children, you don't have all the answers. So you give a suggestion. But if it is like, what is the government doing to do ABCD, for example? So since hiyo inahusu government, tunaenda kwa hiyo committee. Brent kuna swali hapa. Member is asking ABCD on drugs. Brent na timu yake na mimi na everybody tunaangalia what is being done. Sindio? And help you to write. So that committee, the report yenye tumesaidia ku find answers na ile yenu yenye mmechangia mnaileta and you refine. As you say, tumekubaliana hii ni report yenye tutapeleka kwa bunge. Kila mtu atasign. The 5 of you, chairperson and everybody, you sign in that report. Then you come and table. The speaker will ask you to respond. Then you table. We will demonstrate how that is done. Tumelewana?
Yes.
Is it becoming now interesting? Are you eager to do that? Yes. Are you, when that is happening, Madam President can be attending to other issues. Wengine, she doesn't have to sit in the assembly. But for now, we call governor. Forgive me because I've been referring to you, Madam President. But when you are counting, so county anaitwa governor for this case anaitwa? Chairperson of the county. Asanteni. See, we take a break, basi tukunywe chai. Where I come from, what tunaomba tushukuru ile chakula tumeletewa. Can we have a volunteer to pray now for tea? Someone? Kushukuru? Yes, I saw his hand.
If we just did the standing orders, and we are going to do a practice round after this.
Just pray all the way.
The standing orders. How they're going to
Let's
be
pray.
conducting themselves.
Thank you, Lord, for the goodness since night up to now. As we are going to continue ourselves as believers, I pray for everything in the world. Lead us, guide us, protect us. For it is in Jesus' name I pray.
Yeah. Thank you. May you enjoy your breakfast. We are doing 15 minutes because we began late. You realize tuko na kazi mingi ya kufanya leo, si ndio? So chap. You can go take out.
Muulize ndio hapo. did they have not taught about the ascending order? Just say the standing orders, the ascending orders. The standing orders, and then what are they going to do? Are they going to do a dry run or just to practice on how they'll be conducting themselves during the assembly? Also, Tabu Ana, kwa talkback uliza John nachukua kama nachukua shot yako.
Hello and welcome here at the first sitting of Kenya Children's Assembly. And today the children have been sensitized on how they're going to be conducting their sittings. And so currently they're about to come to the first assembly orders. It's like a driver of how they're going to be conducting themselves. We do realize that they have the speaker, we have the chief or the governor who is going to be standing representing the entire county children's assembly parliament. Now, for now, they will continue but they're going to take like a dry run of what will be transpiring or what will be happening in the city, how the speaker will be conducting the sessions, how they're going to be also debating, because they have different issues they're going to talk about. They also need to do things like advocacy. They also need to talk about the children's out there.
And then wakiwa hiyo break time nitaweka shot gani kidogo tu.
That's why they got to have this teaching. That's why after the tea break they're going to have a dry run, or they're going to have their first sitting as the Kenya Children's Assembly chosen yesterday here in 2022. Now, I know that you are aware that the children are invited, and then we have the representatives, everyone to speak, and we have the secretary, also the clerk. We also have now the governor, and then we have the secretary general. The secretary general is now the speaker. Currently, they are at tea break, like I said, but they will be back, whereby they will be first, they will be doing the first assembly, which they will be taught and they will be guided by, they will be guided by the officials in the children's assembly. I know you would love to give us your views on what's happening here at the children's assembly. Just find us on social media platforms, tweet us at Twitter. Find us at Twitter News, at Facebook, Instagram, Facebook. We are streaming this live for you on YouTube. So if you have any comments about how they're going to be sitting, will there be adults maybe in the sitting, their meetings and the debate, or will it be just run by kids, something that is with kids, for kids? What do you think? Just find us on social media platforms and tell us what you're there. So currently they're taking their tea, but they will be back, whereby they will be doing the first of how their house will be going. They've been sensitized on how they're going to be doing their roles, on how and the rules of the house. They've been told about things like dress codes. They've been told about timekeeping. They've also been told about the prayer, the national anthem during the sittings. Currently, they will be back and they will be doing their first sitting, or some sort of driving of how they will be doing the sitting. So currently, as they're taking tea here, we're going to take a short break, but we will be back showing you a lot about what's going to be happening. We will also be showing you now the first sitting. So be ready to see the first sitting of the Kenya Children's Assembly 2022. But for now, let's take that short break. We'll be back with more.
No.
Yes,
Hello everyone, and we are back here at the Kenya Children's Assembly Fast Seating. We had told you that we are taking a break, but now we are back to show you now the dry run or the fast seating that these children will be conducting at their children's assembly. Before we took a break, the children had been sensitized on the roles of each and every single one of the seats that was chosen, and how they're going to be conducting the seatings. Like, for example, the speaker was to conduct the seating. We also have things like the governor, who was also a part of the seating. And yeah, so at this point, I'd love to invite Brian, our correspondent, so that he can also conduct the meeting.
Yes, thank you so much, Omar. Just before we resume our next session, where the current council will have their first ever sitting, I have with me one of the members who just visited to the KCA. Kindly join me and introduce yourself.
Samuel Washira na ministry na tani za huku anakuja kuwakilisha Street Boys kama shida zile tunapitia, mambo yenye tunaona na yani mambo yenye tunahitaji kama sisi Street Boys. Bado niliona ni vyema hizo siku mbili tukuja na hawa sasa ni County Children's Assembly. Nashukuru sana. Leo wametuonyesha upendo kama wazazi na tunaweza kwenda kasi na support na shida mingi sana kama vijana ovyo kudhulumiwa, kutumiwa vibaya ka Street Boys, yani tunakaonekana hatufai. Na pande nyingine pia kukosa mavazi, kukosa chakula, yani kukaa hivyo tu, yani chakula kupata ni katu.
Unasikiaje? Unajua one of the rights of children ni inclusion and participation, ndio. Unasikiaje at least leo this time mkuja mka include the street child? Most of the times inakuwa overlooked na excluded, and then pia maybe some of the leaders of KCA na wamekuambiaje? Unasikiaje?
Mimi kwangu naona ni fair, ni fine, kwa sababu mimi naona ni kitu cha mzuri, kwa sababu hawakutuacha nyuma. Hata walikuja nao wengine wenyewe walikumbuka pia Street Boys, na tunaona wenyewe wanaweza tusaidia pakubwa sana pale yenyewe si hatungeweza.
Na unajua sasa hizi KCA inafanya represent children in leadership, lazima watu wengi sana watakuwa viongozi wengi. Sasa ungetaka waambiaje watu wengine kwa the streets leo kwa represent, ungetaka waambiaje wa contribute kuna watu
Kanye Street Boys matuko hizo mageto na area matao, tustuke, bado mko na watu, jipeni nguvu huku, bado kuna wengine pia ndugu zenyu wanawajali, kuna walimu wanawajali, wanawapenda. Hiyo ndio tunaweza sema.
Well, as you guys know, the right to participation and inclusion is a key major right in development of a child, and it is clear that the KCA, the current Kenya Children's Assembly, is not ready to leave any child behind. A child from school, a child from home, and even a child from the streets. Thank you so much, KCA, for including us. Back to you, Omar.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was one of the people who had just heard about the KCA and had come to see how the Kenya Children's Assembly is actually represented. Now, at this point, we want to get inside the Boma Hall, whereby we will be now looking at how the things are going. We want to take you back to see, because before we took a break, we were sensitized on how they're going to be conducting the first seating, how they're going to be doing the first seating. conducting. They were told how the speaker is going to be leading the sittings. They were told how the power that the governor holds. They were also told that how the Secretary General and the Speaker is going to be the organizing secretary, how he or she is going to be conducting the sittings. They were also told that today is their first sitting. They're actually going to be having their first talk. So currently they're inside. We're going to be moving inside so that we can take you through what's happening here at the hall. So currently I think we will be going inside and we can show you what is actually happening. Thank you so much. So due to some technical difficulties I know that we were facing previously, we are going to redo the interview that Brian did with Samuel. So currently I'd immediately want to invite Brian to come and do the interview.
Thank you so much, Omar. As we all know, one of the main four pillars of child participation is basically the right to inclusion. And today we have with us a guest. Just come and introduce yourself. Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Samuel Washira and I come from Kamkunji sub-county, na mimi nimekuja na modo wa pendekezo letu, na I am a street boy, na huko nimekuja nimeona yenyewe tumeletwa ili kasima street boys yani tuko na uwezo wa kufanya kenye tunataka, lakini ni vile hatuna uwezo ya kupata wenye wanaweza tusaidia. Lakini leo huku tumepata na mamode na watu wengine wanaweza tusaidia. Kasima street boys tunasimanga sana, tunaweza tukipata chance tunaweza furahia sana kama hii yenye tuko nayo siku ya leo. Huku nimekuja kupresent sasa street boys, kama nyinyi ni watu wa maana sana, msijichukie hata mkiwa hapo tu base. Mungu yuko na anaweza tenda mema na mengi na ya ajabu.
Well, unajua in the past street kids hawajakuwa involved in a lot of things. Now this is a national event. Unasikiaje when you're representing the street kids here? Unasikiaje at least for once you guys are represented and you guys are heard?
Nasikia niko fine kwa sababu Juu hapa naona tunaweza saidika kasi ma street boys enyewe, juu bado street boys kuna wenye wanakuanga na matalanta, lakini Kenya hawana ni support, lakini tunajua nikiwa huku tukipresent masafara, naweza pata hata watu wa kutusponsor, at least tukuze talanta zetu. Kanyima street boys msikufe roho, kwa Mungu yuko na hata tutendea maajabu.
Yes. Na umekuwa hapo already, umeinteract na some of the leaders, wamekuongelesha. Unasikiaje, unaona nini ingine inaweza fanyika ili kurepresent si street kids peke yake, hata wengine wenye wako mbali pia, wenye wako abused? Niambie nini ingine unaona inaweza fanywa iongezee kwa this.
Kenye tunaweza penda ifanywe ni pia vijana wasaidiwe kurudi mashule, wasaidiwe si lazima ma street boys peke yake, hadi pia wenye hawana wazazi pia tunaweza ongelelea pande yetu, kwa sababu ni wengi wanadhulumi wangu, lakini itabidi tu tumewatetea. Na jambo mimi naweza tu sema ni mtu okore tu na mashule, kuwezesha kuturudisha mashule, wengine kani kosa wapelekwe na wasihepe, na ukipata chance kaya ni street boys itumie mzuri.
Yes, asante sana Samuel. Well, you've had it, guys. Inclusion and participation being one of the 4 pillars that the KCA is based on. The KCA has shown us that they are not willing to leave anyone behind, be it a street child or a child from home and school. Thank you, KCA, for considering all of us. And you had it, street kids, msikufe moyo. Take that chance and use it wisely. Thank you so much. Back to you, Omar.
Thank you so much, Brian King, for that elaborate interview that you just had there. That was among one of the people who's representing the street children. Samuel, he's representing them, and this is what Brian has mentioned, that inclusion and child participation is among the main pillars of the Kenya Children's Assembly. So currently we are going to go inside so that we can have the main event. We are going to be showing you the first sitting of the Kenya Children's Assembly. They were sensitized on how to do the first sitting, and currently it is about to happen, and they are going to be shown the different roles of the seats that were chosen, such as the speaker, the secretary general. We also have things like the governor, the organizing secretary. All those posts, they need to practice them literally. I know also the main focus of the Kenya Children's Assembly is child advocacy, or fighting for children's rights, and this is among the main pillars that we need to see here at the Kenya Children's Assembly. So this is why they're actually having the first sitting, and why they're actually seated down and ready to debate on the issues that the children are going through. So right now, I take you to the main sitting. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions? Now, a very important aspect, are you guys listening? A very, very important aspect of a leader is listening. So, are we together? And it is very hard for you to listen and be speaking at the same time. Your brain cannot work in that capacity. Okay? You know, show me the psychologist. Yeah. So what we do is get into your brain and know which part of the brain does what and does what. And if you're using this part of the brain, can you also use this one? Nugget. Yeah. So the part of the brain that listens and understands cannot do the same, cannot work together than the part that speaks, okay? You have to really, really give one more attention than the other. Are we together? Yes. So I urge you to listen when someone is speaking hapa. Sawa sawa? Yes. Yes. And if you have something to say, you can raise your hand. Now, Lisa, you're free to do that so that you do not miss out on one as you do the sawa sawa. Thank you. Now I feel like I'm being listened to. You see, I know when you guys are listening and when you're not. Now you are. And I appreciate that. Okay? Thank you. And so, Brenton is going to direct us on how we're going to sit. Oh, sorry. He is going to direct us on how we're going to sit and run the session. Sasa? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Mora. I think I've had you once a time, Mora. Were you at some point a member of KCA?
Yes, I was.
Which year? 2011, pioneer.
2011
These were the pioneers of KCA. Yeah. And
for the first group.
The first group, 2011, at multimedia.
You remember Yes, yes.
See, I was one of the facilitators there. Okay, let's come back. Are you raising your hand? You like to? Okay. I'm saying let's all come back and continue briefly on our presentation. You realize that in our program, we are supposed to have begun our session. But there are still some important things that I feel as we need to cover in the standing orders for you to really know how it's done before. So allow me some few minutes to quickly rush through. I think the rest you can read. And I'll only pick the issues that I feel like probably we need to focus on. Already I've touched others in my discussion, and the others I'll need to explain. Now, let me stand here so that we can work together. So, we finished on the questions. Now there's others and amendments. Kitabu we used to call notice of motion. In Parliament, if you want to petition, correct petitions and notices of motion, you want to move a motion. There is an issue that you want to be discussed. So, there is a way now you are told how to present it. So, somebody who wanted to read, I need to read this. This is the way I got it. 12.1. Yes. Read this. Loudly. And we call it the results. This and that. Yes.
Expect as otherwise provided by this standing order. Notice shall be given by a delegate of any matters which the delegate proposes to.
Yes. 12.1 read.
Before giving notice of a matter, the delegate shall deliver to the Secretary General a copy of the proposed matter in writing and signed by the delegate. And the organizing secretary shall read the proposed matter to the Secretary General.
What is it? Yes. Now, let me try to explain this. In a normal city, as we are just stepping into that arena of city, we are not there. But ideally, in a normal city, when I say declaring a city for consecutive days, we always see this in practice. You don't just raise your hand or stop, but whatever you prepare, it is you submit it to the clerk or the organizing secretary, then to the secretary general. Now, there are those reports coming from some counties. I hope you and the secretary are working with that. Then you will give it to the speaker. Whatever we receive is what now will form part of this discussion this afternoon. And we will discuss amendments later, but not everything is admissible into the children's school, especially if what we are proposing is in contrary to the Children Act, to the Constitution, to our standing orders and charter, then that one will be admitted. So that means the speaker, in consultation with the KTA secretary, will have to analyze what is there. Now, look at 12. Because of time, I just want us to matters which may be discussed without the notice of motion. You want to read this one there.
A delegate must give notice of a matter at least 1 day prior.
Wait, yeah.
Matters which may be discussed without notice. The following matters may be discussed without notice. Amendment to a question already proposed from the chair. Adjournment of the assembly all over debate. Role of strangers. Assembly plays the role of overstanding or ad hoc committee. During suspension of a member. Orders of the assembly under this standing order. Any other matter as ordered by the Secretary General.
Yes. So what happens in the course of deliberation was that one. But the other things that maybe in the opinion of the speaker needs to be discussed there, that may not follow the order that we proposed. Now, 12.5, please be keen on this because this is exactly what we will do. Procedure of discussing issues. And no, you will do. That's the big 12.5.
At the conclusion of the discussion, the Secretary General shall put the matter to vote and will consult the Secretary General with the examining committee. Amendment to the matter shall be discussed. Upon any amendment, any addition and addition shall be admitted as added. When there was no amendment, the vote will be discussed and considered the matter. Secretary General shall decide an amendment will be made to the Secretary.
Okay, please listen here. Any matter coming to the floor for discussion, it has to have a proposal and a second. Even if it was written, but now it comes to the floor, there must be someone to second for discussion. Okay? And then again, at the conclusion, you have to vote. You remember voting that happens? Once it has been discussed and you feel like it is exhausted, now a member can raise the hand and say to the speaker, I want to vote. You can put the question And where there is a tie, the speaker does what? Where there is a tie, what does the speaker do? Yes, it's determining for. If you are to vote as yes, 44. So when you remove the person, sometimes not necessarily and the speaker and the clerk, or usually those ones vote for. How many do you remain? How many? Yes? So rarely would you have, unless somebody absconds, that we've been told. So whenever there are two or more amendments, whatever proposed, and then another person says, I also propose to amend that to this. So it is upon the speaker now to decide who goes first. And those amendments will be done also, right? Let's go to number 13 so that we try and practice. When discussing, we're going. Are you able to read? Or you can use your copy or that one. 13. Conduct of house proceedings. This is how we want to organize yourself. Are you able to read? Yes, which one are you using? The screen or the screen? Okay. Screen. This is here. Oh wait, I push it down. That's yeah. Okay.
Conduct of proceedings. All proceedings shall be in English and sign language. All the assembly shall be Secretary General shall address the assembly without Secretary General permission. Not the shall address the house a matter has been concluded. Confidentiality of discussion maintained.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Are you there? This one. 1, 2 or more. Okay. Proceed.
When two or more delegates rise at the same time to address the assembly, the Secretary General shall decide their order of addressing the assembly.
Madam Speaker, are you able to explain what we've just read? Can you understand? You can refer. Let me see if you've got something. Go back to 13, and also assisted by Deputy Speaker. 13.0, because this touches your leadership. Number A, are you able to control the house? What if they speak in Shen? Shen? I don't know. Shen?
No.
Which language is that? Shen?
It's more about
Yeah?
And what if somebody mixes English?
Shen is not admissible in this house. It's not a language recognized here. When you decide to mix English and Swahili, well, it is allowed because so long as you are fluent, but don't mix a word. You mix a Swahili word and an English word, then it changes to the English or Swahili. If you are using English, use it to complete a phrase. If you feel like you want to switch it to Swahili, but a complete sentence. Tunaelewana? Yes?
Yes.
So, take care so that you don't encourage, because we're also training you to be public speakers. That's all.
Yes.
So be careful about the language being used. And number 2, are you able to manage the house? Okay. So you can refer to that whenever you find something challenging and you need to make a decision, refer to that part. Now, raising a point of order. I am sure whenever you see something or some delegate is talking or making a presentation that seems not to be right, seems not to be having the correct data, you can say, Madam Speaker, point of order. Okay? How do you do it in your debating clubs in school? How do you do it? You are not part. I saw this side. Somebody from debating club in school? Are you one of them? Who? Are you one of them? Okay, so whenever, let's read them and see. Point of order. Point of order, you want to get the attention of the speaker, and you want to raise something that needs to be clarified, or needs to be straightened, or needs to be corrected. So unusually, for example, if I am on the podium as a member of parliament and talking, and in my presentation you feel like it's something that I'm misleading the house, I'm giving information that is not accurate, you can say, point of order, Madam Speaker. But since we are learning, Madam Speaker, in as much as they say point of order, allow them for learning to also raise their hands. And you can shout point of order, Madam Speaker. And when Madam Speaker says, the Honorable Member from Ruaraka, what is your point of order? Whenever you rise to the floor, I have to step aside and give you a chance to do it, to raise your point of order. If the speaker feels like what you are interjecting is not order, she will say you're out of order, Honorable Member. Please sit down. And then she will ask me to proceed. Are you able to picture that scenario? Okay. So, on what occasions can you raise points of order? Tulikuwa tumefika wapi? 13.1a. You have to read.
Any delegate may rise from a point of order at any time during the speech of another delegate. process on a point of order during the speech of another delegate. The delegate who was speaking shall thereupon resume his or her seat. The Secretary General shall either give a decision on the point of consideration after on the point of order forthwith or announce that the decision is deferred for consideration, after which the delegate who was speaking at the time the point of order was raised may continue to speak. The Secretary General shall order any delegate who unnecessary and persistently interrupt proceedings or concerns loudly and disruptively
Now, this is where the speaker, I think those of us who watch what happens in Parliament, you've always seen somebody saying, point of order, Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, point of order. And then the speaker says, you are out of order, step out of the assembly. We don't encourage those ones. But basically what I was trying to explain is what we have been told. I will put out to see at what point of order. And remember I said you only raise point of order to seek clarification, to straighten things, to give facts, or to draw attention of the speaker that the delegate who is speaking is misleading the House, or even when you feel that there is something that is affecting the general assembly of the House and you want the speaker's decision. So 15 is what I had said, the order of business. Whenever we come, this is where the organizing secretary or maybe the clerk will come and read communications from the chair, communication from the speaker, notices of, should be notices of motions, but automatically notices of matters. Petitions, that is when you have something you want to raise, and of course questions and then responses. So the select committees, I think we want to quickly do that and then proceed to our sitting. Brenda, please come and help us to quickly do the committees and then we break into our sittings. Yes, as Brenda comes, let me take the question.
What are ad hoc committees?
Oh, ad hoc. You see, there are 4 committees, but in the course of our business, we feel that there should be a special committee that is formed temporarily to deal on the matter that just arose, and probably it is cross-cutting all committees. Maybe it's your welfare. Maybe you say you want to be taken to Masai Mara for us to do our assembly there. You say kana committee, wewe na wewe kaa hapa mtengeneze mtuambie mnataka nini. So that is an ad hoc committee. Yes. And any member can be drawn into that committee. Okay? So any question? By the way, where are the delegates who sit there? Omenda wapi? I can see almost 3. Oh, there's one seat and another. Hapo nyuma kulikuwa na delegates. Chaperons, please confirm whether the child you accompanied is in. Okay, Brent?
We clap for on very well, and our clerk has started receiving the issues from the different counties. So I would want us to read, I'm reading the names of the delegates who want want to join the different committees. So once I read, then we will break into these groups. Then each group will get issues from each sub-county. Then be able to summarize them, and they will identify one delegate who will present those issues for us to debate. They can prioritize the main 2 issues, but it's good for them to note all the issues coming up on their pillar. Are we understanding? Yes. So if it's the pillar of protection, once you receive all the issues from the 11 sub-counties, you will look at the issues that is affecting protection of children and to note it down. Then when you come to the session now, you'll be able to present that issue for us to be able to discuss. Are we together? Yeah. So I can see majority have preferred to be in the protection and survival. So protection, after I read the list, we will come and sit on this side. Then survival, we will sit behind. Then development, we will sit here. Then participation, we will read. Then participation, we will sit behind. So on the protection, who will be seated here is Daisy Joroge Njiru, Alice Kibra, Bella Kasarani, Lewis Makadara, Jacinta Mukure Kabukunji, Mark Ngunjiri, Embakasi, Mariam Duta, Nancy Wanjiku, and Georgina, Sarah, and Ryan Mambori. So you will sit here. And once you sit there, you will be able now to discuss and appoint your chairperson, your chair of the committee. So it's the members who will sit down and agree, this person will be the chair of our committee. So development will be seated there on this side. Development, we have Salman Jibril from Madare, Daniel Mutunga from Jiru, Najma Nasid from Makadara, and Jolene Agatha from Stare. So they will be able to sit here. Then survival, we will be seated there. We have quite a number. Evans Otieno, Kibra, Sophia Fatuma Kampuji, David Ochieng Madare, Vivian Wangari, Embakasi, Zolani Sasha, Embakasi, Francis Kamau, Westlands, Florence Anyango Langata, Vincent Odhiambo Langata, Margaret Bone, Embakasi, Angel from Jiru, and Agam from Kibra. So we will be seated over there. That is survival. Once you sit, you'll be able to identify your chairperson. Participation will be seated behind. We have Kate Ambogo from Madare, Harley from Westlands, Harriet from Stare, Samuel Washira from Kamukunji, Kelvin Juguna from Dagoretti, Marcus from Langata, Alvin from Langata, and Wanjiro from Kasarani. And another thing you need to consider is you are appointing your chairperson. You want the chairperson, if there is a sub-county which never got anyone in the leadership. Like for example, if we feel Langata never got any person to the leadership, then the chairperson should come from a sub-county which never got any position. Are we together? Yes. So we need to do that maybe in the next 20 minutes so that we can go for lunch at 1:10. So protection, let's come here. Survival, we go there. Development on this side, and then participation on this side. So I would need children officers in every group. The children officers in the house, I will need you to be in one each. A children officer in every group. Protection, come here. Protection, we have 9. Survival, protection, we have And the ones who are in the leadership, you can join any group. You can join any group of your choice.
But as you go to bed, stay in the bed.
As the children break off into different committees based on the 4 pillars, we'll be breaking shortly but coming back soon to bring you the proceedings. See you right back.